What's good, everybody? It's that dude, the one and only Mind of Murdock, bringing it back. We are here for episode 5 of Mind on Bears, man. I hope you all have been enjoying all the content I've been bringing. Channel's been growing exponentially in my mind, so I can't wait to have this grow a lot more. So definitely make sure you hit that like, share, and subscribe if you're looking forward to more episodes of Mind on Bears and more coverage of the NFC North and, of course, the Chicago Bears. Today, we have finally, after all this time, a Chicago Bears review on the Bears' overall draft prospects, what they're going to get, what I would like for them to have, so on and so forth. So without further ado, let's get into this bad boy. Starting off, as you can tell, I made sure to leave the screenshots in so you can see when I actually made these drafts, so you can all coordinate. Just like myself, we can all coordinate with the times. And also, as you can see down below, I also have a time that I recorded this stream. During this time of me recording this stream earlier in the day, I've had some computer issues, but then also at the same time, I want to put my hard condolences out there for those in Philly and anyone else that may be affected by those plane crashes that just happened. I know there was one that just happened in Philly, and there was one previously in DC. So my heart goes out to those people. Now, moving along, as I said beforehand, as you can see with the screenshots, I made sure to have what the Bears need, which is accountability. Accountability is the biggest thing here, period, point blank. So my accountability would be, you'll be able to see right here up top, it shows when I took the screenshot. So you have one screenshot at 1:12, and then the last screenshot so far, well, that I did because we're going to do one during this podcast today, 1:23. That'll be the last one that we talk about. So starting off with the first screenshot. First screenshot, 1:12. This was earlier in the month. Bears, full into the Bears season of us not necessarily being competitive, mind racing, but then boom, all of a sudden, we have Ben Johnson. So Bears fans were able to get the coach they wanted. So at the end of the day, first thing I started thinking, we need to make sure we protect Caleb. So the first thing I went out there and thought about was, who do we have out here for offensive linemen throughout the draft, defensive linemen for our defense, and potentially other players to help. So I started off with our 10th overall pick. I chose to pick Kelvin Banks Jr., based off of his size, his presence alone inside that offensive line. I can see him being one of the young leaders right next to Darnell Wright. After that, I made sure to flip it on over. Going back to Emory Jones, though, he did not have that good of a Senior Bowl practice so far. He definitely got mauled a couple times. I seen him kind of get dogged out, so that kind of changed my mindset on him. But at that time, 1:12, as you can see, I was on it. Emory Jones, all day, every day. Let's get Emory. But I feel like we needed more of a presence to help Montez Sweat. All Bears fans know that. Sweat can't do it by himself, and then at this point, no offense to Sweat at all. Like, seriously, none whatsoever. I feel like he's somewhat depreciated just a little bit. You know, he went down just a little bit. You know, the best player out of two teams. You can't go wrong with that. So, moving on with that, I was thinking Jack Sawyer. Jack Sawyer, man, attitude, grit, determination. That's some of the biggest things you're going to see with these picks. And Jack is that. Jack is exactly that. That determination, that grit, and that value. So that's what I'm looking forward to when it comes down to with Jack. Our center position was atrocious. Shelton was atrocious. Lucas Patrick was atrocious. So guess what? Even Cody Whitehair, after a certain point, was atrocious. We need better. So moving on to that, I was going ahead and picking Gus Hartwig. Gus looked like a well-functioning, structured center at that time, guard, even if you wanted to move him over. So that's going to be a nice pick. Next, with the 185th pick, given, if we had an opportunity to make some trades here and there to, do some things, I see Ryan Poles possibly having a chance to do some magic this year. Because on a side note, I don't know if you all remember, but the league was scared of Ryan Poles after he made that trade with the Carolina Panthers. They were scared. They were like, wow, he hoodwinked them. So for the next couple drafts, I don't know if you noticed, but no one wanted to actually trade Ryan Poles anything. This draft here, I think they're going to be sleep. sleep on Ryan Poles and actually giving him an opportunity to make some trades, I see him moving up and possibly doing a little bit more than what those initial picks that we have. Ian Cunningham is supposed to be getting us a few other picks for our team, so I'm looking forward to actually what we have structurally by the time the draft comes. And I'm not necessarily a beat reporter, so that's not my thing. Pat Bryant from Illinois. I've been watching Pat every now and then. I'm looking at the later rounds for the Bears to possibly add another asset next to Rome and DJ. Tyler Scott hasn't been able to necessarily show up how we needed him to. He's been kind of that Butterfinger man. We also noticed that it failed with Velus Jones. And Claypool, it failed with him also. So it didn't necessarily work out. Keenan Allen may be gone. He had a beautiful, productive season last year. So I would love to keep Keenan Allen myself. But I also understand the upper, presidency, Bears staff, whatever, may value him differently just because of how he was not as productive this year. I don't put that on Keenan. Personally, I don't. I still think he's worth every dollar. It's just he started playing up to what he's paid for this year. You get what I'm saying? I can see us moving on from him only because of the fact that we have Antoine Randall L. Sorry about that. Bit my tongue again. Antoine Randall L. as our wide receiver coordinator. That right there changed the game for me. Because one of the biggest reasons why I wanted Keenan Allen to stay on the team was to help Roman Dunze and potentially anyone else that needs help become better at, working routes, become better at actually executing catches, so on and so forth, making themselves more valuable to a team long term like Keenan Allen has. That's what I saw from Keenan. But with Randall L there, a player that's proven, him and Big Ben doing their thing back in the day, so on and so forth, man, sky's the limit. Sky's the limit. So definitely Pat Bryant on that one. And then to end it off, I was thinking, hey, Everett, you were not as effective. I said it in my last Bears video. I'll make sure I pin it up here. Last Mind on Bears video. Everett didn't show up as a tight end. And I believe Cole Kmet needed some help on the other side. He needed some other people to make them have to worry about them and Cole, just kind of get more assets in general. So with this, I decided to go with Jake. Jake seemed like he would be a great pick at the end of the round. That would be our last kind of asset pick. Not necessarily the best, but not the worst at the same time. I can see him working okay in the pass game at the same time, working good with pass blocking. So that's going to be a good thing, especially the run blocking situation. But overall, with all of these players, as you know, we're going to go ahead and let those players be judged a little bit more harshly during the combine. And so, moving on to the next screenshot that I took on 1/13 of this year, Senior Bowl, and noticing a lot of different players. And one thing that I noticed too was we might not need to actually help Caleb too much when it comes down to that offensive line. It could have been the game plan itself the whole time. It could have been the game plan itself, right? So knowing that it could have been the game plan itself, guess what? I was thinking, hey, we could just reinforce the line a little bit and get Caleb some help and so on and such. So then that moves me on to this, the second draft, which is the 01-13 draft. This right here, I know most of Bears Nation was feeling it. They were like, yep, it's going to happen. We saw pictures of Caleb Williams with this kid. And you know what? I'm not going to lie. If this happened, it would be golden. I can see him and DeAndre Swift being a devastating combo. So with that number 10 pick, I know the Bears do something that people say you don't do, which is grab a running back in the first round, Ashton Genty. Looking forward to seeing what he actually has to bring to the league in general, with players like Saquon in the league doing his thing, how he's been dominating. You got Derrick Henry dominating. I see Genty being just another one of those coming in and doing his thing. So regardless of what team he goes on, Genty's going to be crazy. But I see the Bears going for Genty at number 10 with that pick. Then after that, I was looking for more size and presence on the defensive end to help Montez Sweat and possibly help the interior line of that defense. I went with Landon Jackson. Their size, presence, hands. Once again, looking for the measurables through the combine. I was also still, even at this point, as you can see from the first draft on 012, on 013, I was feeling him still at that time. I was still feeling him at that time. And I said, you know what? With the 43rd pick, we're going to go ahead and get Emory Jones. Emory Jones. I was really feeling Emory Jones at that point because of the players that were took within that draft already. We already missed out on players like Will Campbell and Simmons. So, Jones looked good. He still looks okay, but man, oh man, that Senior Bowl definitely hurt a little bit, and I'm hoping that he can make up for that in time. Star of the day, as you all can see. The star of the Senior Bowl when it comes down to the offensive line, Graves Zabel, my bad. Man, my mouth with this wisdom tooth. I'm so sorry, Bears fans. But anyway, and drafters, I already saw him coming a long time ago. As you can see, 113. And it was actually a little bit before 113 when I actually looked up Gray. I was looking for different players that had certain size that can be a presence around Caleb, whether at the guard position or even possibly with the center position, just because of how he could possibly hold up. We saw him just dominate at the Senior Bowl. It was pretty nasty. To start this off, I want to start it off by thanking Couch Potato, general manager, for the clips of the Senior Bowl. Definitely go show them some love. In the description, I'll make sure to share their channel below so you can go check out some of these clips. But here, Zabel, oh man, highly dominant. You're not getting past that. You're not getting past that. Look at how dominant this boy is. Simple. Whew. Can't go wrong with that at all, I tell you. And then moving on after Zabel, you can see Zabel definitely stood up. He had so many fantastic highlights throughout. So that's just one of many. And actually, there was a few that I have throughout there, so definitely go check out Couch Potato. He has some fantastic coverage. I can't wait to actually go to a few Senior Bowls, drafts, combines, so on and so forth in the coming future, so look forward to those. Now, moving on to Jared Wilson. Oh, man, Jared Wilson. Okay, so Georgia boy. I was looking at Jared Wilson to help us with that interior line. The interior line had a lot of issues, and it still has a lot of issues for the Chicago Bears. He was actually holding up. He was he was doing his thing. And at this point in the draft, once again, he was the one that was available. I wanted to surefire, just make sure this line was completely just solidified with young guys. Everyone wants to have each other's back, but at the same time, they want to make sure that Caleb is upright. If you touch Caleb, you get messed up. That's it, period, point blank. So that's what I was looking forward to with that pick with Mr. Wilson there. Flip it on over, go to the other side. Went to the defensive side for the defensive tackles. Black showed me some things, and I'm looking forward to seeing what Black has to do inside of the combine, what actual talents, what moves he goes for, and see what type of presence he'll have compared to players that we have now, like Andrew Billings and so on and so forth. Hand size, leg size, body size. All those things mean so much, especially today when it comes down to leverage. Black, I believe he's a great one to just penetrate the line, do what he need to, run stuffer, so on and so forth. It's going to be a great time to really check these guys out in the combine. It's going to be great. I'm going to try to actually do a live stream for that, so definitely put your notifications on for that, and definitely make sure you hit that subscribe. And then once again, as you can tell, with the 148th pick, Pat Bryant. I saw Pat Bryant as being an asset for us at the end of the day. It would be nice to see Pat Bryant or possibly Tez Johnson as an asset that the Bears pick up so that we can have a little bit more power in general. And Caleb just has options everywhere. Teams will have to build defenses just for Caleb. And I can't wait. I definitely can't wait. All right, and then moving on to our final draft that I had already pre-mock draft. As you can see on that date, it was made 01/23. So this was made on the 23rd of January. I switched up my mind a little bit. I thought about things just ever so slightly. I wanted to have more reinforcement of the team in general. I thought about the full scale of the team. I sat back as a Bears fan and I said, you know what? We need more. Let's not just think about Caleb. Let's not just think about the interior line. Let's kind of spread it around. And so here's how we did that one with this. So starting off, we had a major trade, and it was something I was looking forward to. I wanted to see what would happen, who we would miss out on with this trade, and however it may have went down, so on and so forth. During the trade, we traded with the Denver Broncos. They moved up to the number 10 to grab, I believe, Genty or a wide receiver at that time, McMillan, I believe, which, it happens or not, doesn't really matter to me at this point. Go Broncos for you guys. But with the 20th pick, the Chicago Bears were still able to secure and grab Will Campbell. Man, oh man, when I saw Will Campbell was still there from this simulation, I was like, yes, this is going to work. This is going to work because we got more picks. We got more picks. This is going to work. This is beautiful. I like this. Let's do this. Got some picks for the next year after that. I think it was 2026 picks. But in general, it was beautiful. It was a beautiful trade. So starting off with the 20th pick, we had Will Campbell. I love his attitude. I believe there's a viral clip of Will Campbell out there talking about it here.
You give up 1 sack a game for 12 games, you're going to work at Amazon. Nothing wrong with that, but whenever we're here, this is what we're striving for. If you ever got the time, go back and watch my first play of college football. I got my face ran through, punished, and that's just what it is. I mean, to be thrown in the fire like this against good teams, these dudes are trying to get paid.
That's what I'm talking about.
All they got to do is get to the quarterback. One thing we live by in the O-line room, a D lineman get 1 sack a game, and that's the only thing he can do. 12 games, he'll be a top 5 pick. You give up 1 sack a game for 12 games, you're going to work at Amazon.
So I definitely make sure that I never forget exactly what he meant and when he said that. I was like, oh, okay. I like the passion, young man. I like it. It was beautiful. It was definitely beautiful to see that from Will Campbell, especially seeing that our teams don't traditionally have that type of drive. So to see him have that drive, it was perfect. It was perfect. So moving on, like I said, number 20, Will Campbell. Then 41, Landon Jackson. Landon Jackson, I saw him had a decent tape in the Senior Bowl. This is before the Senior Bowl, as you can tell. So this is 01-23 when I actually took this screenshot. But his leverage in general, he can get inside and he can get a little bit more leverage on the offensive tackle. So I'm looking forward to seeing exactly what he can do when it comes down to helping out. Once again, like I said, Montez Sweat. Bears fans will be repeating this until we get Montez Sweat some help. Period, point blank. Speaking of help, I was looking for size and presence again. I know you all are getting tired of hearing size and presence, but size and presence is what we need. Speed and actual command, closing speed. And that's Deion Walker. Deion Walker was an amazing archetype when I was just looking him up. And then to see what he did during the Senior Bowl practice and practice day 1 and 2, that was actually pretty good. He was one of the most dominant that I've seen in a long time. Now, I seriously see him being a presence in whatever defensive line he's in. Seriously. Boom. Now, he does rise up a bit too quick, but look at that size. Look at that presence. That is ridiculous. That is ridiculous. I don't know if you all know this, but beforehand, apparently Walker was coming in at 6'1", 260-something, or whatever it may be, or whatever, right? This kid is 6'3", 244, or something like that. That's great. This is beautiful. Man, the prospect of this kid, it's night and day. It's seriously night and day. And continuing, as you can tell, same static theme from my earlier drafts, Emory Jones. I was looking to shore up that line with Emory Jones. Then I was thinking, you know what? We let go of Khalil. DeAndre Swift was not actually working, not doing what I felt like he could do, not being as assertive as I felt like he could be. So guess what? I needed someone that can get theirs regardless of the line. Period, point blank. And at this point of the draft, I understood that there's so many running backs in this draft, it's ridiculous. I wouldn't mind getting Donovan Edwards later in the draft. I wouldn't mind getting ETN later in the draft. But at this point in this draft, I chose Cam Skattebo. Cam Skattebo from Arizona State. Man, the definition of grit, grime, and hustle. Period, point blank, man. I love his style, and it would be very interesting to see him as a running back for the Bears next to, if not ahead of, DeAndre Swift. So him and Rojo can be a combination, or they can keep Swift, have Scatterboo, and then put Rojo as fullback. I seriously believe Roschon Johnson still has a whole lot of qualities. But at the end of the day, I would definitely say convert him to a fullback so that we can still keep him on the team, but also do more, kind of utilize him a little bit better, develop him better with a better coaching staff. Because a lot of our players on the Bears really were at fault only because of the fact that our coaching staff didn't know what they were doing. Clearly, with not scheduling the first 15 plays of all those games in the beginning. It was ridiculous. But anyway, it's neither here nor there. We also have Jalen Reed. Jalen Reed, the only reason why I went for a safety is because, hey, I love me some Jaquan Brisker all day, every day. I know there's Bears fans all day, every day that love them some Jaquan Brisker. But at the same time, I'm thinking about his health and concerns of that. I understand the way that the coaching staff talked about his health and was always saying he was questionable until the end of the year. Yeah, you're questionable for 8 weeks. You're just out. That's it. Just put him on IR. That's it. I don't know what type of pump faking they wanted to do with other teams, but that was ridiculous. And I really hope this staff is a lot more transparent. And if a player's hurt, he's out, and that's it, But I also believe that Brisker didn't want to play for this coaching staff. He was done. They were putting him in bad position. So he chose to chill out. But knowing that, and with that, I would go ahead and draft with the 85th pick, having it converted over from a trade, of course. Jalen Reed would be great to have from Penn State. So that would be another Penn State boy out there in the back. They can kind of, learn off of each other and grow from there. If you have to get a replacement or if he's a backup, that's fine. I know we have Jonathan Owens out there. I still want to keep Owens. Us needing potentially younger people to kind of take over for Brisk after a while. And last but not least, Jacob. I wanted to get just a little bit more reinforcement on the line. Make sure that Bears fans understood. I know the message. I get the message. Protect Caleb. Protect Caleb. So realistically, with this pick here, I would actually probably change around and get Elijah Arroyo. Nice, clean route runner when it comes down to things. It looks like he can possibly block pretty decent. So he would give Caleb another option, and then also he'd be able to chip block, if not block better than what we just had from Everett. So that's one of the biggest things that I was looking forward to in this draft, to make sure that the Bears can solidify everything that they needed, period, point blank, and make sure that our team felt as dynamic as possible. We have already had the weapons. If we had Ben Johnson and a couple other things, meaning just Ben Johnson and different play calls, I believe the Bears could have easily won 4, if not 3 more games based off of play calling alone. Just play calling alone. Right? So knowing that, we have a lot more assets on the team, and then we would also be able to evaluate players a lot better because they would be put in a better position. So I'm looking forward to seeing this 2025 draft. I hope you all are looking forward to seeing this 2025 draft. It's been that dude, the one and only MindOfMurdock. Brought it back to you, man. I'm so happy to be here for the Mind on Bears episode 5. If you are enjoying the overlay and everything, definitely let me know in the comments below. I tried my hardest. I'll be upgrading, doing different things here and there. You'll at least see some Bears content once to twice a week. And without further ado, it's been that dude, the Mind of. Yeah.